This is our second episode that we're making. If you have not guessed already, it is going to be about our lightsabers, as promised in the first episode. I don't know that I actually promised that. I thought it was only fitting to do this because this is the first Star Wars anything I've ever made, and not just even for this film. So I'm going to try to structure this in a way that makes sense. It's kind of all over the place, but I think we'll see. Hey, I'm new to this YouTube thing, and please bear with me. I know you'll be understanding.
You suck.
Okay, maybe I'll do a little title above me that says what started this? I don't know if that's a good title, but okay. This all started because we got season passes to Disneyland and we were going a lot. We quickly realized our favorite place in there was Batuu or Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Land or whatever you want to call it. And there's a little shop in there that you should definitely avoid if you don't want your kids to whine a lot and beg for things. And of course, we wandered right in there, and it is easy to avoid. You could probably just walk past it and your kids would not even notice. But of course, we're exploring every inch of that place, went in, and it's so cool. It's got animatronics in there. It's amazing. You could probably watch other people's videos all about it. So cool. Anyway, they have a whole glass case full of incredible movie replica quality lightsabers. And you can ask them to see every one of them, and they will hand them to your kids, and your kids will want them so bad. They're really incredible. I knew nothing about this stuff going into it, and I looked at the prices when my son's, Dad, I want one of these, and they're over $200. A lot of them, the blade's not included, so that's an extra charge, and it's a whole thing. Not to mention they have this whole other thing there that's like this whole experience where you can build them, and it's a whole show. Look into that too. Also super cool. We have yet to do it. I want to do it though, so maybe one day. But yeah, so we're sitting there. He's looking at all these insane lightsabers. They're huge. They're really big in a kid's little hand, and I'm just imagining this thing flying across the room, breaking something, and this is not appropriate at all. So he's looking at them, I'm pulling up Amazon, looking up lightsabers, and I'm seeing some really appealing price tags, and I'm just quick dad thinking, how can I spin this into something, a cool project or whatever? So how can I get him excited to not get these Disneyland ones? And I'm just like, dude, we can make our own, and they're going to be even cooler than these, and you'll be the only one in the world that has them. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then what the heck did I just agree to? So that brings us to topic number 2. Why I decided to make my own lightsabers instead of just buying them. Initially, yeah, it was the price, but more than that, because my time is very, very valuable to me. But I started to think about this instant gratification thing and how if I just say yes to everything, what does that lead to? And it's a dilemma for sure that every parent understands. A lot of times the things they want are very cheap, and it's very easy to just, wow, $5 can make this kid so happy right now, why not? And then that turns into a kid being spoiled very quickly. So I try to be good about that, and so I'm kind of rambling right now. First thing was they're not sized appropriately for children, other than probably the Yoda one. Still getting into the rhythm of making YouTube videos. I never thought this would be my life, but here we are. So the things I wanted to teach my son through this project was, one, just delayed gratification. I wanted to teach him to have pride in your work and to work really hard at something and to have that job satisfaction, and that usually feels a lot better than just getting the thing right then and there. And sure, that's fun in the moment, but that wears off. This turned into such a huge source of pride for him When we take these out, people stop us and ask about them, and he's just so, my dad made these, and he just lights up. It's so fun to see, and you would never get that if you were just, oh yeah, we bought those over there at the, whatever. I really gotta look up the name of this store. Wait, we'll do that right now. Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. I forget what I was even talking about. Oh yeah, we just bought them over there at Doc Ondar's. We just bought those over there at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquity. Hey, we bought those over there at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. I got it. So enough of that. Let's go into the process. So any project, you kind of have to start with an idea or a goal. I'm not used to explaining my creative process. So lightsabers are these very personal things to a Jedi or a Sith, I guess. Jedis are supposed to build their own lightsabers, and so we had to start from square one. Who are you in this Star Wars universe? Well, you're a kid, you're a Padawan, so you're gonna be young. So you're in training, and what world are we in? Where are you in the timeline, and all that? And what we kind of landed on were thinking he's a scavenger. So what are these going to look like? What's the story behind them? We put a lot of thought into that part of it. So from there, we took all those ideas and went back to Disneyland again. I said we went a lot. And we went and started taking reference pictures at Doc, and what's his name again? I'll just play the clip from earlier where I said it correctly. Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. So we're there at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, just taking pictures. We're trying to take pictures behind the glass. Screw it. We asked to see him, taking all these reference photos, deciding which ones he liked. We'll borrow these kind of themes from that one and that one and that. And by the end, we had so many ideas. We decided on making 2 lightsabers. Went home. He started drawing, and I took those drawings and kind of interpreted them into something that could be made. And my next step was ordering the lightsabers, which was my first huge mistake in this whole process. And we will revisit that. So we order the lightsabers, we get them, and of course they're just plain black, basically a cylinder with a couple little detail lines, and I'll probably put an Amazon link so you could see. So taking his designs, and I'm using this tool called a shaper tool, which is basically a portable CNC machine. I take measurements with my little caliper thing and plug those measurements into Illustrator so I know the circumference of the holes I'm having to drill and all this stuff. And from there, I upload those files onto the shaper tool, and I pull out a piece of aluminum, and you put your tracking marks on, and then you just start cutting away, making sure everything fits along the way, and you end up with a bunch of little doohickeys. In this case, you got 10 little disc thing pieces, okay? And this was the first one we made. So with those pieces, we start constructing it, kind of figuring all out stuff out as we went along. I was new to kind of doing something so intricate. And God, I got a lot of props to describe, and I got to find a better way of articulating this stuff. So thankfully, everything lined up and fit pretty well. After test fitting, I went through the trouble of polishing all of these aluminum pieces to a nice smeared finish, and thankfully I was using aluminum because it does polish a lot quicker. It's a much softer metal. And I guess this probably isn't that important to anyone because you probably don't have a shaper tool and aren't interested in doing metal work, but whatever. I'm sure I'm playing these videos right now and you're probably seeing the process, so I'm just gonna keep blabbing about that. We used these little rods that we got from the craft store, and we threaded these metal things, screwed in. with this. I'm sure I'm gonna take some close-ups. I made little metal, and I don't know why I was obsessed with everything had to be metal on these, but it is. It's so even these things, these little bump outs are metal that I fused to the cylinder, the initial thing, and then wrapped it in leather and then, leathered around. Fun fact, Echo actually sewed this himself, which was really cool. These little details were just a little setting on the sewing machine. I don't know if this is gonna be just the most boring video. A lot of these design decisions were made kind of thinking about what could super advanced society make out in the middle of the desert with minimal future tools, and I feel like I stuck to it. I like how these feel, and I'm really doubting in this video right now. I'm doubting my whole life right now. I was never one of these dudes at art school that was good at explaining their work. A lot of it is just, it looked cool to me at the time, so there's a lot of that going on here. A lot of it was very intentional and thought out. As you can see, I'm explaining it, but some of it's just, that looked cool, or I'm kind of putting it together and I'm needs a little something else, and that's when we eventually got to this. One of my favorite parts and least favorite parts is this thing that kind of covers the button. I hate it because it made it very difficult to get a USB-C charger into there, so I had to actually shave down a charger so it fits. And it's not a fire hazard, but close to it. If I took another 0.5 millimeter off, it would be a problem. And just having to make holes to, access screws and stuff, I kind of wish I could really just go nuts with it. And that's something I would definitely change. But at the same time, it's one of the more intricate pieces, and it almost feels like jewelry to me. But like the kind of jewelry you would get on the Venice Boardwalk in California. Any of the things that kind of make it feel earthly to me, I don't like. I will eventually probably remake these, to be honest. Let's move over to this guy. So this, I'll probably show some of our main inspiration on screen. So this one, I learned some lessons. This part I made very thin so that you can easily plug the charger in. I was able to find these cool little metal things that hide the charge ports. There's a lot of regrets, and I'll focus on those later. Get this stupid thing back in here. Okay, some things I really like about this are the leathers poking through little areas. These rod things were real interesting to make, and that was just cutting little channels to accommodate these rods. Rounding these rods on the ends, pill-shaped, was interesting, but yeah, they fit exactly, and I did it 3 times over. These rubber bands were a nightmare to work with. A lot of them broke on this one, and I had to glue them down. Some little weird things happened. Having to do a little patchwork there, and those ended up being kind of my favorite things about this, that kind of give it a story, I guess. I wonder what silly thing happened to break that, or you could only find 2 short pieces and didn't want to go to the store and buy another set of rods, so he made do. But in the end, I think they're very cool. They're different from each other, which makes sense. If you're scavenging things, you only have what's available to you. So to be able to make 2 identical lightsabers, I would think would be extremely difficult. Okay, I have definitely talked about this for way too long now, and I have even more to say. So I'm gonna split this video here. Come back, please, for part 2. It'll be even better. Even better stuff. I saved the best for last. Come back. If you have not watched the first episode yet, there probably really actually is a thumbnail right now on either side of me. Well, dang, it's late. Okay, it's now officially
March 26th, 2025.
And I will be at WonderCon at the end of this month, and I'm gonna have some cool stuff to give away to people there. If you see me and my son and our droid, come say hi. You'll get a little cool thing from us. We have it for you, and I know I'm still just talking to probably Francis and my mom, so, which I don't think either of you are going. I don't know why I'm blabbing here, but okay. Anyway, may the force be with you always.